Good evening, YouTube. Today is National Cheeseburger Day. So even though we're a little late, we're going to get in on this whole cheeseburger thing. First step, it's always better to actually form your patties with seasoning, but these are just basic store-bought patties. These are 80-20 ground chuck. And so I've got some salt, garlic, well I should say garlic salt, and some cracked black pepper on it. Important to make sure you get seasoning on both sides. I like to pat it in a little bit, that way it doesn't all come off when I put it in the pan. The next step is to get a hot pan going. We have a hot pan over here. It's not a non-stick pan, it's stainless steel. I don't use any of that non-stick crap because it makes cancer. But you want to oil the pan, a little bit of vegetable oil here. It'll smoke out, but that's okay. And we lay in our patties. Listen to that sizzle. And the most important thing is to not touch them. We want to let them sit just like this for a few minutes. And we put a lid on it. Just let all that heat that's built up in that pan work its magic on the meat. And it's very important to not move the burgers until they're ready. You want them to caramelize so that when you go to flip them, they don't stick to the pan. The same rule applies for cooking on a grill. And you also want to avoid flipping the burgers too often, because the motion of doing that makes the burgers more fragile and they will fall apart on you. Another thing that's also important to note is that I've got the burner on medium heat. I started out on high to get the pan hot, and then I backed it down. You don't want to go too hot because you don't want to burn the meat and have it super rare in the middle and charred on the outside. Now, kind of my rule of thumb, as you can see, the blood is starting to boil up through the top. My kind of rule of thumb on that is once that action starts happening, it's almost time to flip them over. Now you see there, we've got a little bit of the caramelization going on. Nothing's stuck, you saw when I flipped it. But it's got some caramelization going on around where it makes contact with the pan. One mistake a lot of home cooks make is they will do this. You see how all that boils up out of the top there? Well, when you press it like that, you're also pushing out all of the fat, and the fat is what gives the meat the flavor. We do want to work it out of the meat, but we want to do it through a slow process, not a forceful process. Alright, so while the burgers are finishing, we're going to make our dressing for the burger. It's basically going to be equal parts this chipotle aioli, sweet relish, and whipped dressing. And we'll just mix that together. Alright, the burgers are done. Now for the final step, we're going to take some butter while the pan's still plenty hot. About a teaspoon's worth. We're just going to lay that in the pan and just let it melt and steam. And we're going to put our cheese on the burgers. We're going to put a lid on it. and just let it go and let that cheese melt. While that's finishing up, we're going to mix our sauce, our dressing for the burgers, and we're going to toast the ciabatta buns. Got everything ready. So now, first thing we want to do is dress our buns, just a little bit on each one. It's very important to toast your buns, your bread, whatever you're going to use. This is ciabatta. That way, it will not absorb all of the juices from the burger and from any dressings that you put on it and get soggy. Toasting it really adds that extra element to preventing one of those ho-hum burgers that's just no fun. And check out these burgers. That is beautiful. My camera work sucks tonight. I'm sorry, guys. I'm gonna have fun cleaning this tomorrow. But check it out, guys.